Rouge Dior Sequin Liquid Lip Duo in the shade 420 Pink Star. This retails for $55 US. Let's compare it with the Chanel Ultra Tenue Dual Lipstick. And we can see that Chanel is slightly smaller, so it retails for $50 US, kind of cheaper than the Dior. And Chanel has 4.5 ml in the lipstick versus Dior, which has 6 ml of lipstick. And on the gloss side, Chanel has 3.5 ml versus Dior having 5 ml. So let's look at some swatches in natural daylight. This is Chanel in the shade 69 Tender Beige. So I'm doing 3 swatches of each lipstick. And we can see that this Chanel lipstick is a little bit uneven when swatching, and that translates a little bit into the lip. But once the gloss is on, it doesn't really bother me, personally. Okay. And the Dior Pink Star shade is much thicker from the tube, and as we are swatching it, we can see that they are just, the swatches are more even than the Chanel side, and it looks like a more moussey texture compared with the Chanel, which is more liquid. The shades are relatively similar. Now our swatches of both lipsticks have completely dried down. We can see that the Chanel Tender Beige color is slightly warmer than the Dior Pink Star, and there is definitely some visible glitter in the Dior Sequin formula. So both of the lipsticks are pretty lovely in color, and if we touch the lipsticks, we can see that Chanel is a little bit sticky once dried down, and the Dior Sequin lipstick is not tacky or sticky at all, which is a good thing, and we can use that as a standalone. Now let's try on the lip glosses on top of the lipstick. So we're putting the Chanel lip gloss on the middle swatch of the Chanel lipstick, and there is no disturbance of the lipstick underneath, which is a good thing. And we can see that the same is the case with the Dior lip gloss on top of the Dior lipstick, which is also the middle swatch here. And the Dior gloss is slightly thicker than the Chanel gloss, and we can see that it is a little bit more opaque as opposed to completely clear on the Chanel side. So let's try putting the Dior gloss on top of the Chanel as well, and also the Chanel gloss on top of the Dior sequin lipstick, just so we can see whether they can be used interchangeably. And it looks like they are working quite well on top of each other, so that's a good thing. And if we turn our arms now, and we can see that the sequin in the Dior is really shining beautifully under the gloss. So let's do the wear test. We'll take a tissue and make one wipe. So the Chanel dry lipstick has nothing coming off, which is good. Let's see the gloss part with the Chanel gloss. Okay, the gloss is gone with a little bit of the transfer of the lipstick on the tissue. Not too bad, and there is a stain remaining. And the same case with the Dior gloss on top of the Chanel, so they are definitely interchangeable. Let's test it on the Dior side. So after one wipe, the dry sequin lipstick has broken apart a little bit on my arm, and the sequin is definitely remaining, but there actually is a lot of transfer on the tissue after this one swipe. Let's see how the gloss part does. Okay, a lot more transfer than the Chanel, and also the lipstick is moving, maybe just slightly broken down by the gloss. And remember, on the middle swatch it is the Dior gloss. And let's see, with the Chanel gloss, the situation is not better. We have actually more of the Dior lipstick coming off, and a lot of the glitters as well, which is slightly disappointing compared with the Chanel. Basically, the lipstick itself is not moving under the gloss. Let's do a second wipe. So after a really heavy wipe, the Chanel liquid lipstick is still there, pretty much intact. So the one under the Chanel gloss is also staying, but fainted a little more than the dry one. And the same case with the Dior gloss. So the glosses really don't make a difference, and there is no smudging on the actual arm. But that's not the case with the Dior, as we see that the dry swatch has smudged terribly after the heavy swipe. And what's remaining, combining with the glitter, is actually looking pretty ugly. And we're seeing that the Dior lipstick under the glosses are pretty much gone after the heavy swipe, and the glitters have transferred everywhere. And that is a little bit disappointing. So in terms of my final thoughts, I think the Dior Sequin Duo is fun, and the Pink Star color is actually very pretty on the lips. It's not necessary, I would say, especially since the lasting power is not so good. Definitely not comparable to the Chanel. And also the sequin on the lips feels a little bit gritty, I would say. So, is it worth $55? It depends. If you really enjoy having some glitter fun for the holiday, and it's good to have both a liquid lipstick on one side and just a gloss on the other side, not necessarily working together, but just kind of a two-in-one, not necessarily 1+1. is more than 2 in this specific case. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks for watching.